Hello and welcome guys. So today, as promised before, we will be learning how to model a really simple chess piece. So I will show you what it looks like in a second. So this is what we will be trying to accomplish. Not exactly one-to-one transition, but we will just try and see which modeling operations we can implement already, things that we know and don't know. So you don't have to use exactly the same picture, so you are more than welcome to find another picture on the internet. And it doesn't even have to be a chess piece, it can be a glass or a cup or anything like that, just something really simple with a circle as a base, I guess, just because it's going to be a little bit easier for you to work with a simple shape like this. So we will start by creating a new project, and we will go under File and Project window. And so from here, as you can see at the moment, it's using the default project. I want to set up a new one, and let's call it just chess exercise maybe. And it's going to be sitting under my documents, my projects, which is fine. It's where I prefer to keep my projects. And I'm not going to be bothered with everything that Maya will be creating this time. Honestly, it doesn't matter too much. We can just keep all those folders as they are. So just click accept. And just in case, let's confirm and set this project as our current project. So I will find this again on the set project and click on this and go set. And the first thing I will want to do is to save this in as well. So Control-Shift-S, and we can really quickly give it a name and save it. Cool, so after you've saved your scene, the next thing we will want to do is to actually import our reference image. So but before we do that, what I would like to do is to put the reference image, which I just have over here, into the project structure. So if I just click on this and Control Exit, so cut it and go into my chess exercise project, and just go under the source images and Control V it in here, so it's just going to be sitting under the source images of this project. Now we can go into the front view, and from here, if you click on this tiny little image plane button, it will take us straight into the source images folder of this project, and we can click on our chess piece .jpeg and just import it into the scene. You don't really have to change the size of this. I might just go with the current size, and after that you just need to try and position it somewhere where it makes sense. So as you can see, there is a little bit of perspective distortion on this image, and I can tell just by seeing how this is actually, an oval shape just at the bottom of this piece, meaning that there is perspective. Usually when you're working with reference images, it's ideal not to have any perspective. It will give you the best result. So, if you're later on working on your characters and drawing them from the side and the front view, it's always a good idea to have those feet flat on the ground, so you don't have that kind of oval shape happening. But with this exercise, we just kind of want to have fun. I'm not worried about following this piece 100%. So we'll just give it a go and see what we can come up with. So now we just go into the perspective view, and I want to drag this image out a little bit so it doesn't sit here in the middle of my grid. And I can create a new layer. Oh. And just click Save. And I will reference this layer and go back into my front view. So I will be probably starting with potentially just with a sphere again, but something a little bit smaller, so maybe 10 by 10. It should still give me quite a nice result. And also I will duplicate this, and I will just keep it here on the side because I will be using this later on. So what we can also do is to put a wireframe on shaded mode over here and use our X-ray so that we can see a little bit better. And I just want to scale this sphere down a little bit. And now if we go into the vertex menu, this is where we can start manipulating the subject a little bit better. So I can, for example, grab those vertices and deselect the top row, just keep going, so maybe something like this. And I will scale it up, and notice how whenever I need to scale something, because it's a circular or spherical object, Make sure that you're always using your central gizmo for the scale, otherwise you will be getting an oval looking result. So don't forget, you can deselect with your control, and if you needed to select something and then add to that selection, you can use your shift. And so maybe something like this could work. And what I don't want to do from here is to get rid of polygons at the top and at the bottom probably. Don't think I need those. Move this down a little bit. And I can see that this piece here probably has a little bit of a detail on it, so I'll just select this whole loop by double-clicking and Control E again. Sorry, not again, that's the first time we're using it in this video. So Control E will be your extrusion, and as soon as you click it, it will be created for you. And from there, you can go into your Move tool and just drag it upwards. Something like this should work. And from here, what we can do is we can add this little detail on top of our chest piece, and we will be using this sphere over here. So I just need to drag it back where it was before and drag it up and scale it down. The reason why we had to duplicate this before was because I wanted to have the same amount of polygons running along the object so that we can connect them really easily with no problems. Something like this should be okay. And I'm going to go into my face mode and get rid of those polygons at the bottom. So what we can do here, I think we might just take those two objects and merge them together so that we can bridge or close the gap between them. So go under Mesh, Combine. And if we get rid of the X-ray, you will see that, okay, so first of all, now this is just one object, but we haven't connected those two elements together. So we need to do it somehow, and we could use Append to Polygon tool, which you can find under your Mesh tools, Append to Polygon, or ideally it should be sitting on your shelf already, or we can use another command, which is Bridge. So we can select this edge over here, and then Shift select this edge over here, and we'll go under Edit Mesh and Bridge. So you will see that it closed the gap, but we got two more set of lines here, so we'll just have to get rid of them. For the divisions, I will set it to 0. Cool. So that's one part done. I'm not sure if there is some sort of small detail at the top, so it's totally up to you if you wanted to do something like this. But I will just continue going with what I have here so far. So I can see that there's two kind of circular looking things. So and then there's this big one. So for the big one, we could potentially just use a torus and shape it slightly differently, I guess. Oh yeah, let's start from there. So I will create this torus, and it's going to be a little bit too big to begin with. So I'm going to change my axis to 10 and 10. I'm going to take this and scale it down. My X-ray mode again. And scale it down. So if I press 3, just to see what it would look like subdivided, and then press 1 again. So maybe a little bit, let's say a little bit bigger, and then we can scale on Y. Y doesn't really matter too much. And what we need to do from here, so if we go back to our perspective mode, we kind of want to get rid of all the polygons in the middle, because we don't need them and we won't be able to connect our pieces together while we still have those polygons sitting there. So I'm just going to select them from this view Probably don't need those. Just get rid of them. Cool, and I just want to take a look what it will look like. Should be fine. And for the radius of this object, I just want to drag it up a little bit just to see how if it will work for those details. It should be fine, I think. Cool, so we can start extruding from here. Press Ctrl E, move it upwards. So from here we can go and press Ctrl E again. But this time I just want to scale it down, so I will press R on my keyboard. Scale it down like so. And to check the radius again, just gonna move it upwards a little bit. And yeah, it looks fine. So Ctrl E again on that edge selected. And go into your move tool, move it up a little bit. And now from the perspective, Ctrl E again to create a new extrusion, R, and scale it up. And in here I'm just going to be looking at this particular point, so I will be scaling it up so it sort of looks like it's the same size as this one over here. A little bit hard to see, but I hope you get the idea. And Ctrl E again, and move it up. Cool, and so it should be sitting roughly where the other piece finishes. And Ctrl E again, R for scale, and scale it down so they're sort of quite close to each other. And we can actually connect them this time, so that's not going to be a major problem. We can do it right now. Let's delete history, freeze transforms just for now, so that they don't bother us anymore, and we'll go and do mesh combine again. Cool, and now we just need to connect those vertices, which might be a little bit tricky, just in terms of being able to select them. So I'll go for my front view vertex, I'll select all of those here, and then I will deselect this row or this loop. And I know that I have selected two edge loops, one belonging to this piece and one to this one. So we can go under mesh and find our, edit mesh and merge, and hopefully they will be merged. And if we press 3 on the keyboard, you should be seeing something similar to this. Cool. So everything is connected properly, we don't have any holes anywhere. And go into your front view again. We actually need to grab this edge first and go into the front view. And I'm just going to check the size, so I think the size should be fine. And we can go Ctrl E from here, and I will just move it all the way down and scale it up a little bit. So I think it will be something like maybe this. And we just need to add another edge loop, so I will be using my Insert Edge Loop tool, which you can also find under Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. And I think we need to scale it down just a little bit to get that shape. And if we go into 3, also you can manipulate your objects in this mode as well, so I'm probably just going to change it ever so slightly. Cool. Go back to 1. And now we just need to continue working on this. So I can see there is this really harsh line, so potentially we could separate this model into a couple of different pieces, but we won't do it this time. So this time I will just go and extrude everything as, keep it as one piece. But we need to create this tiny little detail. So Control E, Move tool, and let's go into perspective. And using R, so we'll just, I'll have to close this, and then with the same edge selected, Control E again, and just move it down ever so slightly, so it will be a little tiny gap, or a little tiny detail, and then Control E again and scale it up. I'm just gonna take a look from this view, maybe something like this, should be fine. And from here, if we put X-ray back on, so now we can just start working on this slopey thing. So Control E, move it down and scale it up a little bit. So I don't know if it will look something maybe like this potentially. And then there's kind of like a nice curve, I think, going this way. So let's try it out. Control E and scale it up quite significantly. I think so, something like this, maybe. And we need to add another edge over here, so maybe like this. And just check it in my smooth mode as well. So we'll need to add some supporting edges to this piece later on, which is discussed in another video. But I think for now, maybe move this one up a little bit. Cool, so this is why perspective is really bad when you're working you know, on your orthographic views or on your turnarounds. You never really want to have perspective. So Control E, and I'm just gonna make this nice little curvature thing, hopefully. Control E again, so now I'm just kind of extruding and probably can go down from here. Control E. So size-wise, maybe somewhere around here. And then we have another, I think, set of details. It's quite hard to see, but I will assume that this is one piece, and then there is another, like a loop running at the bottom, just this one. So for this, we'll go back into the perspective and do the Control E again and scale it down. W, Control E, move it down, Control E again, R, scale it up from the front view so that they're of the same size. W, Control E, move it down a little bit, so that's a tiny little bit of detail. And we'll go Control E again, R, and this one has to be quite thick, I think. So if I go here, yeah, this should be pretty good, I think. If you ever drag this down and then you want to put it back so that it's sitting exactly where this line is sitting, all you need to do is to select that loop and press and hold V for vertex snapping. So you will also see that this thing will get highlighted for you. And now if I use my Y-axis arrow, I can snap to anything, and I can snap to those vertices over here. And so from here we can go Control E again, just move it down, and that's pretty much it. So we can go back and we just need to close this hole by going into our, if I can find it, mesh. I think it's somewhere. Cool, fill hole. And now we just need to poke that face so that you don't have this huge angle sitting here. So under Edit Mesh, define poke. And also what I'm gonna do here is actually, let's just check first if everything is fine. So go into a smooth preview mode. You will see that you're getting a little bit of a weird result because we have triangles here, so they don't subdivide it nicely. But overall, it's looking pretty good. So you can start going and adding your little edges, supporting edges, which I discussed in the next video. I might just do it really quickly in this one as well. useful. As you can see, I'm ignoring some of the, not adding supporting edges over here, just because I think it might look okay without them. If you wanted to support this edge better, you can add one over here and one over here as well. Ooh, and that was weird. Let's try again. Cool. And for this one over here, we'll have to select all of the faces, and you can't really double click on them because they're triangles. And just make sure that the selection is correct. So I'm going into that isolate select mode to see if I've selected the right thing, and Control E on this. And you can use your offset. Doesn't matter, you could have used your scale tool as well, doesn't matter. And now if we go back into the object mode and we smooth it out, so this is the kind of result we're getting. I'm just going to go to my front view and move it. Well, don't necessarily need to move it, but ideally I want this to be sitting on the floor, on the grid. But that means we'll have to move the picture as well. Maybe I'll just leave it like this for now. So that's pretty much it. Don't forget to delete history and phrase transformations. You can rename this to chess piece geo or geometry, and you can save your file. Cool, and that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.